What is up, everybody, NC?
JC and
We are back with Spiritual Talk. And for this Spiritual Talk, I want to do it on something that I think is paramount to anybody who believes in God, to anybody who trusts in Christ. That's the biggest thing. The number one thing is that you have to trust. And a lot of people, they throw it around willy-nilly. Yeah, I trust in God, I trust in God, I trust in God. But to truly trust in God is to completely release that fear, release that anxiety, release any sort of doubts that you may have had about yourself or about a future situation. Let me share an experience with you. So, this actually happened sometime this morning. I don't know if it was one of my cats getting in the room and jumping on top of the container, or if it was just the netting giving away, or what. But I wake up to go turn on my bearded dragon's lights. Do that usually around 9 a.m., 10 a.m. every morning. So I go to turn on the lights, and the netting part has completely collapsed in. Thankfully, my lizard was able to be positioned right underneath the log, and the netting, the way it slid up against the log, prevented the light from crushing my lizard. And that right there, that told me, you know what? God's looking after not only me, but God's looking after my pets. God is looking after my loved ones. Anything that I care for, and I fully put that trust in God. You know, protect this person, protect this being, protect this animal, protect this thing. It will do so. God will do so. God will protect whatever I choose to have protected because I have put that trust in Him.
that's right.
And it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate that, like, a lot of people, they get caught in that web. You know, they get caught in that web of doubt. Like, what will happen? What could happen? And you don't do yourself any favors doing that, because
No.
a big part, and they don't tell you this in church, a big part of trusting in God is the visualization part. They don't teach you about visualization. They don't teach you to put out positive imagery to support whatever your goal is. Like, let's say you want to get that job promotion. It's not a bad thing. It's not witchcraft. It's not white magic to go ahead and put out the positive imagery of you getting that job, of you getting the call back. Yeah, you got the job. You're starting this day. You're getting a good pay. You have to put out that imagery that, like, let's say that job promotion, it's everything that you've ever wanted and you got it. And if you truly focus on that, you visualize it, you can put that into action. You can put that into reality. A lot of it is, I hate to say, is the law of manifestation, just combined with your belief in God. If you truly believe in God, God will make that reality for you. And another thing about God is, the closer you get to God, He will speak to you through signs a lot of times. He'll speak to you through the TV. He'll speak to you through the radio. He'll speak to you through the internet. He'll speak to you through billboards. He'll speak to you even through people. I mean, there was a time when not too long ago, I was driving state to state, and I was pissed off. I couldn't find a gas station anywhere. I come out, and this guy, he's like, "How you doing?" And I'm like, "You know what? I could be better. I'm actually pretty shitty." And he said, "Well, you know what? God still loves you. Have faith." And I was like, whoa. you know?
Yeah.
Just weird situations like that where I'm like, wow, God is here. It doesn't matter if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm looking for a gas station. He's still there for me, and I have to trust in Him. And I know it's different for every person, but one thing that really led to a lot of trust for me in God was a couple near-death situations. You know, I've been involved in a very near-fatal car wreck. I came back to work within a month. I was one time over in Borrego, over in the desert, and this is when I was in Boy Scouts. And I was with one of my teammates, and we were going alongside a cliff. And this must have been like a good 30, 35 feet up in the air. We were going up this ascending cliff. And it got real dusty on the ledge, and I slipped, and he was there to catch me. Another time over when I lived over on the East Coast, me and my friends, we were out there, we were playing kind of like a cops and robbers type game, but we called it Castlevania. So we're like, you know, we're all just kids, just being kids. And this guy came up to me, picked me up, and said, "Hey kid, you want to go for a ride in my van?" And fortunately, my friend showed up right there. He dropped me. I saw on the news, same guy, dressed the same way, same haircut, everything. was arrested for raping 3 kids in the area.
Oh,
So it's situations like that that have helped me build my trust in God and to truly trust in God and to know that He's guiding my path and to know that He's there for me regardless of whatever situation happens. And it's go ahead. I'm sorry.
and I just feel that, to kind of tie into what you're saying, is that a lot of people, especially myself included, we get so tied up in what we expect and what we want that it may not be what's best for us, and God knows what's right for us. So we could be obsessed with wanting a certain job or wanting to be with a certain chick or wanting a certain outcome, but then ultimately, if we were given it, we'd be unhappy, we'd be stressed out, we'd be miserable. And so I think God always knows. I just always I'm like, God, whatever you want from me, whatever you want out of me, I'm leaving it in your hands.
You know what, JC, that is such a great point. And let's go ahead and talk about that too. Let's talk about how that's a situation where, yeah, God will always provide you with the best possible option. Like because don't get me wrong, in our hearts, we want the most glamorous, we want the most prettiest, we want the most nicest, we want the best, most lavish life possible. A lot of us do. Some of us want different things in life, but a lot of us want a good, comfortable lifestyle.
Right.
And sometimes we manifest that through, oh, I can get this hot chick, oh, I can get this perfect job, oh, I can make 6 figures. God will tell you, hey, it's not about that. There's something better in your life for you to make you happy, to make you more whole. And that's the thing too, is like, as I grow in my faith, I don't look back and regret anymore. I look back at a lot of things and I'm like, oh, God did that so He could remove me from this person, so He could guide me on this path, so He could show me a better way of life where I don't get stuck, because a lot of times too, you're a product of who you hang around with, of who you associate with.
Right.
If you associate constantly with negative people, that's going to reflect upon you. You really have to break yourself of that, and you have to break yourself of the patterns that once held you back from being a better person. And that's a very hard thing to do, man, breaking the patterns. Because a lot of people will be like, oh, you changed, man, you changed. And just know in your heart, you changed for the better. You changed for God. And that's the best type of change you can make.
And I think one of the changes that I'm proud that I've made, and that a lot of our fans have made too, is that we don't harbor vengeance. In other words, if somebody hurts me, I don't want revenge, because I know that it's best to leave that up to God. God knows. Leaving that up to God, God knows what to do with it. Because I feel,
yeah.
and I've experienced so many times that when I want vengeance, when I want to get revenge against somebody, it always ends up backfiring on me.
Right, right. Well, and let me just share something just for example, because I'm sure a lot of our core fans realize that because of our influence in the quote unquote anti-smart community, that there's a lot of jealous people out there. There's a lot of people that have come after our channel. There's a lot of people that have said some very hurtful things, even though we haven't done much to them or we made a simple joke about them, and they get massively fucking butthurt. We've dealt with this for years. And all we ask is that those people that have been going through shit with us, that they find God. We don't wish any ill will on them. We're not out for vengeance, because God has a way of making you realize your mistakes.
He does.
He has a way of making you realize that, you know what, maybe I shouldn't be going down this path. And a lot of it has to do with, people are sometimes immature, or sometimes people are young and dumb. There's different factors to concern in a situation like that where somebody is attacking you. But ultimately, you have to look at, too, the reason why they're attacking you is because they don't like something about themselves.
Exactly. It's projection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you just need to understand that. Just feel sorry for them, but let God handle them. You can't deal with that situation. It's not for you. It's for God at that point.
Absolutely, and it's really goes back home to the message of this spiritual talk, and that is just trust in God. Give it to God. Don't always stress yourself out that you have to come up with the answer and you have to have the solution. No, be humble and just sometimes say, you know what, God, I believe that you can do a better job with this than I can. You are omnipotent. You know everything. You created the universe. I'm going to hand this off to you. I trust in Jesus Christ for all my problems. I just say, God, it's too much for me. Please take this off my hands for me. I know that he's going to solve it. I trust in God that God is going to take care of it, and whatever happens will be for the better.
And I'm telling you, this is not just me saying some hocus pocus mumbo jumbo, but the more that you pray, the stronger that you connect with God, the more you will see Him communicate to you, the more you will feel His presence, the more you will feel His guidance, the more you will see your prayers come into action on a quicker basis.
Right.
It's amazing just how, especially when you devote your life, like let's say you pray one, two, maybe a couple times a day, meditate, whatever it need be. But when you devote yourself to God on a daily basis, that love with God and that trust in God grows stronger. It's something that it has to be seen to believed. So that's why I advocate always for truly trusting in God and loving Him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's God will never hurt people on your behalf. God
Yes.
will never do that. So,
No.
like, anytime anyone ever prays that somebody gets hurt or anything like that, God will always send that back to the person praying for it.
Absolutely.
Always, and make them miserable and angry and you know.
And good. I'm glad He does. VHS said indeed, and forgive them for their foolish ways that lead them to misery if they don't
Yes.
stop. Well, and that's the thing too. It's unfortunate too when you've seen people that you've worked with before that choose to dwell in negativity instead of rising up, and a lot of it has to do with their age and their sense of humor, immaturity. There's a lot of factors that go into that. But yeah, it's very frustrating. But you can't get yourself involved in that. You just got to step back and be like, you know what? Take care of them, God. It's the best thing.
It is.
Alex was saying, I've had bad dreams that make me want to rage against people I've already forgiven. Alex, what I would implore to you is I would implore to you that before you go to bed, pray to God and ask God, can you please cleanse me of this negativity? I have forgiven all the people who have ever wronged me. Erase these negative dreams. May angels watch over me.
Right.
That's the biggest thing is you have to invoke God and His angels into your life because that's what the angels are there for. They're there to protect you.
They're there to protect you and keep you on the path. You just got to
Yes.
reach out to them and let them help you.
Absolutely. So, guys, thank you for joining us for the spiritual talk. We'll be back next week with another question, everything anon. And see,
JC and
peace out.